Welcome to Outlaw Woodworking. You know, there's a few things that I do in between projects that I'm almost religious about doing. One of them is in between each project, I wax all my cast iron because it will start getting rusty if you don't take care of it. It's basically bare metal, grind bare metal. And the other thing I do is I check two things. I do two things on my SawStop. I'll check the angle of the blade, and I'll also check the squareness of my fence. Now there's a couple different ways to check the squareness of your fence. You can bring it over here, you can put your finger in here, kind of get it flush, lock her down, and then go over here and see if it's the same. Now it feels pretty close, but I don't like to rely on just that. So let me show you what else I do. I use a gauge. So this gauge is made by Tool Cool, and I'll leave a link in the description. I got it on Amazon. Now the way this works is you slide this in your T-track. Kind of tighten it down a little bit so it's not. Then you bring your fence over. So what I'll do is I'll use this gauge, and I'll try to set it right around 10. So I'll lock it down there, then I'll basically get it pretty tight. I'll spin the dial till it's right around 10 or something that I can remember. And then what I'll do is I'll run it to the other side and see what it is up there. So right there it's 22, but that's when it's tight. Come back down here, and we're at 0. So in my eyes, we need to cock that a little bit that way. Now in order to do that, you need an Allen wrench, and you basically pull your saw off. Now we want to cock it so we basically want. So right down here, let's see, we were at 0 or 10, and up there we were at 20. So it's kind of turned this way. So we need to loosen this side a little bit. So you kind of try to remember where you're at here, and then you have an Allen wrench right there, and you need to basically just unscrew that just a little bit. Now I'm not going to do much because it was pretty close. So let's see, I'm going to try to just a quarter turn, and we'll see how that goes. I'm going to leave that out. Put my fence back on. Bring her over till it's touching. Then I'm going to set this on 10. Now I'm going to bring it back over. Now we're way off now. We went the wrong way. So we would have needed to, I loosened this. I should have tightened it. So let's pull that back. So I had loosened this quarter turn. So I'm going to bring this back a quarter turn, and then I'm going to come back the other way, but not much. So let's see if we can get this a little closer. So we're going to set that. Okay, once I get both ends perfectly square with the T-track, and this gauge, I'll go ahead and remove this. Then what I'll do is I want to check my measurements on both of these sides. And the way I do that, I get my steel tape measure here. And we're going to go ahead and set it on the number 2 mark. So we'll bring this over to number 2. Cinch it down, and then we'll check it. Now, I'm looking at this right now and it's off. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that. And the way you adjust that is just these 2 screws right here. So I'm going to put this right on number 2. Cinch that down. Most of the time I'm double checking on the blade anyway, but it is nice if you can, reference this for quick measurements. Now we're going to check it on the 2, but we're also going to check it on 12 inches. So right here we're going to pull it out. And we're going to set that right at 12. Now, if our 2 measurement was correct, and right there you can see it's right on the money. So by referencing the 2 first, and then checking on the 12, we know we're right on the money. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check our angle, our blade angle. So the first thing I do when I'm checking my blade angle is I'm actually going to remove the rear blade. I'm just going to set that out of the way. And I'm going to raise my blade up. And then I'm going to put this digital scale. And it has a magnet right there. I'm going to zero it out. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the blade to, I'm going to rotate it to 45. And we're going to make sure this angle is correct. We should be right there. So I'm as far as I can go on the bottom, and we're right on 45. So this accuracy is pretty good. Now let's go back down. Let's go back down to 15 degrees. Well, let's check each one. So let's see, right there should be 35. Pretty close. Oops. Yeah, right there is 35. And we'll go down to 15. So we're right. Looks like they're using the bottom of the line just a little bit. So right there is 15. Now if we go to 0, so 0 and 45 is your most important. So now that should be 0 right there. And it's exactly right on the money. So we'll tighten that up and leave that at 0. We'll put our blade back down. And those are pretty much the steps I take before a big project. Like I'm getting ready to do a big cabinet project. And I want to make sure that all my stuff is dialed in, and that it's ready to go. Because when you start a project, you don't want to be messing around trying to get everything working again. So these things let's go first. I didn't used to like these blade deals, but I've gotten pretty used to it now. I've gotten pretty used to it because the vacuum system, when you use this, you get very little dust from the top, and that's been pretty nice actually. So we just put that on. And I've been making a habit of in between projects, I'll wax everything and I'll do just what you saw here. I'll dial in the fence, make sure it's grease all the tracks, wax all the boards, and then check all the angles. Make sure nothing has changed since I first started using it. Anyway, that's kind of how I dial everything in before a project, and just to make sure I'm right on the money. And I'll also, when I get ready to chop my cabinet boxes, I'll actually do a couple test cuts just to make sure that they're really square and make sure I haven't made a mistake on the fence. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and I will see you next time. Next time we're going to actually buy an accessory for the SawStop. Since I work in the shop by myself and I don't have a big area, we're gonna get a little accessory to make our life a little easier. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.
There he goes, it's a working man. He's trying to make a living any way he can, and he'll break his back for $1 or $2. Oh, there ain't no shame in what he do.